Taiwan, officially the Republic of China, ROC, is a state in East Asia. Neighboring states include the People's Republic of China, PRC, to the northwest, Japan to the northeast, and the Philippines to the south. The island of Taiwan has an area of 35,808 square kilometers, 13,826 sq miles, with mountain ranges dominating the eastern two-thirds and plains in the western third, where its highly urbanized population is concentrated. Taipei is the capital and largest metropolitan area. With 23.7 million inhabitants, Taiwan is among the most densely populated states, and is the most populous state and largest economy that is not a member of the United Nations, UN. Now, where does the conflict starts? As I mentioned above, Taiwan is not a part of UN, United Nations. It was ruled by Imperial Japan from 1895 to 1945. But after World War II, the Republic of China, one of the victors, began ruling Taiwan with the consent of its allies the US and UK, after Japan surrendered and relinquished control of territory it had taken from China. However, in the next few years, the leader at the time, Chiang Kai-shek's troops, were beaten back by the communist armies under Mao Zedong. The Communist Party of China overthrew the government and claimed freedom, forming People's Republic of China. Chiang and the remnants of his Kuomintang (KMT) government fled to Taiwan in 1949. This group, referred to as mainland Chinese and then making up 1.5 million people, dominated Taiwan's politics for many years, even though they only account for 14% of the population. Having inherited an effective dictatorship, facing resistance from local people resentful of the 228 massacre and authoritarian rule, and under pressure from a growing democracy movement, Chiang's son, Chiang Ching-kuo, began allowing a process of democratization, which eventually led to the 2000 election of the island's first non-KMT president, Chen Shui-bian. Beijing and Taipei sharply disagree on the island's status. The People's Republic of China asserts that there is only one China, and that Taiwan is an inalienable part of it. Beijing says Taiwan is bound by an understanding reached in 1992 between representatives of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, and the Kuomintang, KMT, political party then ruling Taiwan. Referred to as the 1992 Consensus, it states that there is only one China, but allows for differing interpretations, by which both Beijing and Taipei agree that Taiwan belongs to China, while the two still disagree on which entity is China's legitimate governing body. The tacit agreement underlying the 1992 Consensus is that Taiwan will not seek independence. Do Taiwan wants freedom? Yes. While political progress has been slow, links between the two peoples and economies have grown sharply. Taiwanese companies have invested about $60 billion (£40 billion) in China, and up to 1 million Taiwanese now live there, many running Taiwanese factories. Some Taiwanese worry their economy is now dependent on China. Others point out that closer business ties makes Chinese military action less likely, because of the cost to China's own economy. A controversial trade agreement sparked the Sunflower Movement in 2014, where students and activists occupied Taiwan's parliament protesting against what they call China's growing influence over Taiwan. Threat of a World War III. In 1979, the United States established formal diplomatic relations with Beijing by concluding a joint communiqué stating that the United States of America acknowledges the Chinese position that there is but one China and Taiwan is part of China. At that time, U.S. President Jimmy Carter terminated diplomatic relations with the ROC government in Taiwan. But months after, the U.S. Congress passed the Taiwan Relations Act (TRA), affirming important unofficial ties with the island. The legislation allows for arms sales to Taiwan for self-defense and does not rule out the possibility of the United States defending Taiwan from Chinese attack, a policy known as strategic ambiguity. Since then, U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, totaling more than $25 billion between 2007 and 2018, have led to United States-China friction and an upsurge in bellicose rhetoric across the strait. Political transitions in the United States have also prompted tensions between Beijing and Washington. Taiwan's Tsai spoke with United States President Donald J. Trump by telephone ahead of his inauguration, the first such high-level contact between the two sides since 1979. The Trump administration also seems to be deepening ties with Taiwan over Chinese objections, proposing multiple arms deals and unveiling a new $250 million complex for its de facto embassy in Taipei. On the other hand, China, as part of its continued military expansion, has deployed missiles along the Taiwan Strait and periodically conducts drills near the island. It has sent bombers, fighter jets, and its aircraft carrier over and around the strait as shows of force. According to a 2019 U.S. Department of Defense report, China's military, the People's Liberation Army, continues to develop and deploy advanced military capabilities needed for a potential military campaign against Taiwan. Would an attack on Taiwan spark a World War III? That depend on United States. If they send the troops to protect Taiwan, it will possibly start a conflict between two world powers, and dragging other countries along, in the bloody mess. Current situation. The U.S. Air Force dispatched B-1B Lancer strategic bombers to the Indo-Pacific for a training mission in the first week of May 2020. The U.S. naval forces are deployed near the Strait of Taiwan, which consist of Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group, Nimitz class, and other naval warships and destroyers. In response, China also has increased the number of nuclear submarine in South China Sea. And they have unveiled the stealth bomber H-20. Tension is high in South China Sea as the Chinese are putting pressure on the government to deploy army in Taiwan. As WHO is to hold its meeting on 18-May 2020, United States wants WHO, World Health Organization, to give a seat to Taiwan on the board. And China wants to deny that seat. I will say it again, it all depends on the reaction of America, whether they send the troops to fight or not. If they send the troops, we might see a World War III because of Taiwan conflict. Peace out.